focused on inclusion of people with disabilities in governance. Correspondent examines quality of NHIA services. Good evening and welcome to NTW News at 7, coming to you from your heritage station. I am Olaumi Adeniji. Thanks for joining us. Here are the details of the package. There is an emerging indication that the national head count suspended earlier this year may soon hold, as President Bola Tinubu has expressed total support for the conduct of the national census. President Tinubu made the pronouncement as he launched the National Data Electronic Civil Registration and Vital Statistics System and his coordination committee at the State House Conference Center. State House correspondent Musbah Danwahab tells us more.
They usually announce their arrival into the world, but half of their population across the world go unregistered, or at best, only documented locally. At the other extreme of life, the World Health Organization is also concerned that 2/3 of annual deaths globally go unnoticed.
The 80,000 women who die in this country from maternal causes should not be forgotten, and this system will help us make that more visible.
The digital birth certificate.
Now, with the emergence of a digital civil registration and vital statistics system, Nigeria is ready for a catch-up with the developed countries' practices with a system to register birth and death of its citizens. And baby Aisha Ahmed is the first to get on the list.
The objective of the new electronic civil registration and vital statistics system, otherwise known as Vital Bread, is to improve data capturing, collection, processing, dissemination, and timely access to statistics on vital events in the country.
An efficient civil registration system is the cornerstone of development and governance. It ensures that every life, event is not just recorded, but recognized, forming the basis of policies, planning, and service delivery that meets the needs of all Nigerians.
The global best practice of a system is also to interrogate the causes of death and plan to mitigate morbidity and death rates for more effective public health policies and viable population. On this, President Bola Tinubu expresses his administration's commitments towards generating accurate and reliable demographic data that will serve as building blocks for better socio-economic planning.
The system will also improve the ability of the federal agencies to generate vital statistics on important population events and migration, further enabling the government to design well-tailored, effective, and efficient policy capable of meeting the needs of Nigerian people.
And this is perhaps the most expected moment for the National Population Commission on its suspended census project.
The Commission will therefore be supported in the conduct of the next census.
With the launching of a National Coordination Committee and in collaboration with the National Identity Management Commission, this system is also expected to generate demographic data that will also be useful for other relevant agencies. From the State House, Musbah Danwahab, NT News.
Low-income earners in Nigeria are a major target group in federal government's plan for affordable housing. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, explained this on Good Morning Nigeria while commenting on priorities in the housing sector. Ibrahim Bello completes the report.
Development Minister Ahmed Dangiwa highlighted constraints encountered in the sector and where past policies on affordable, safe and sanitary housing accommodation did not produce the expected outcome.
To ensure that we downscale the specifications in order for these houses to be more affordable, so that Nigerians can have a roof over their head that they can call their own homes. Yes, and then they keep improving over time.
He also threw light on innovation introduced to address housing deficit known as cross-subsidy.
As a ministry, we intend to create more estates and cities. We want to call them the Renewed Hope cities and Renewed Hope estates. We intend to create Renewed Hope cities, one in each of the political zone of the country, one state per political zone, to ensure that the houses are market-driven, and create also the Renewed Hope estates in the remaining 30 states of the Federation. We have to combine both the two, the low medium income earners units and the high income earners, so that with the cross subsidy within them, the high income can subsidize the lower income.
On national housing policy 31 years after and the need for review, the role of private sector developers as well as the role they will continue to play in the initiative, the minister and a director in the ministry provided answers.
These policies, as I said earlier, are there. Not that they are not good, because they were made by experts in housing and environment and many other experts combined to make these policies. And those policies are workable and they can work even in Nigeria. But the institutions need to be there to reform them. The people need to be ensured that there is that reform.
We are inviting the private sector to come in to partner with us in areas where they can better handle the risk that is being assigned to them. And in doing this, we are doing it both in the construction, that's the supply side, and then in the demand side, financing the demand side as well.
Engiwa gave timelines on the target for growth of Nigeria's housing development plan as government begins implementation.
The growth will have a maximum of 8 years. Right, but within the next 2 years, you will see that Nigerians are smiling on that.
Nigerians who have keyed into the policies aimed at providing affordable housing like national housing funds, among others, were applauded. The guests were optimistic that the current initiative will succeed. In Abuja, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
Concerned about gaps in access to health care services in the country, the federal government developed a national health insurance strategy. The strategy is intended to make health care available and affordable to the people, bearing in mind that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Health correspondent Uche Ugochukwu examines the quality of services provided by the National Health Insurance Authority vis-a-vis response from enrollees.
In 1999, Nigeria floated a National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, to provide affordable healthcare services for government employees. The scheme recorded initial success, but beneficiaries had lots of negative experiences.
And you get approval code, even after you get the approval code, it says expire after a day. So if you are in a hospital, you come today, come back tomorrow, say the approval code has expired. And you are passing a lot of stress, this and that.
To address these and several other weaknesses, the federal government in 2022 repealed the NHIS Act and established the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA. This makes health insurance mandatory for all Nigerians, formal and informal sectors, and by this, the over 70% of Nigerians who pay for health out of pocket will be alleviated from poverty.
We are doing everything through accreditation, quality assurance, to ensure that the best quality of care is provided for the NHIA enrollees. And that is to say that the standards of drugs that are dispensed under the NHIA are of the best possible qualities.
Looking at Cancer Health Fund, the CHF, they've also tried. At least they've been able to alleviate or save number of people's life, because those drugs are quite expensive, and sourcing for the drugs and looking for money health care is also reduced.
There are now improvements, but much more needs to be done.
When my wife had an issue, yes, it helped, because I didn't pay as much I would have paid if I had not drove. Some part of it, even though they were complaining that some of the drugs were not covered.
They are okay in tests in some other areas that they say I should do tests, I should do this and that. They are helping us. At least they reduce some amount for us.
With the NHIA, Government hopes to increase and improve health coverage to meet the universal health coverage target.
However, the experiences of some beneficiaries indicates that such hopes will be realized if current concerns are addressed to build public confidence and get more Nigerians enrolled in the act. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, 23,000 pensioners in Osun State will be captured under the Osun Health Insurance Scheme and will begin to enjoy free medical care. Governor Ademola Adeleke announced this while flagging of the new scheme for senior citizens in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. Femi Afarogun completes the report.
The tale of pensioners in Osun State over the years has not been a sweet one, as many grappled with incessant payment of their pensions and gratuities. With Ademola Adeleke's administration changing the narrative for the senior citizens, the governor has now enrolled all pensioners under Osun Health Insurance Scheme. The governor sees them as people who have contributed greatly to the development of the state, therefore deserve a free quality healthcare service.
If you are paying them, maybe they are eating well, they are doing this. How about health? So that's why we come up with this today, so they can have free medical care. For example, if they go to Bauchi and they are sick, they go to the hospital. The hospital there in Bauchi will send the bill to us and we pay.
We know how it will reflect on our pensioners. Many of them are very poor. They cannot go to hospitals, but when they are registered now, I am sure it will make the life of many of us longer than what we expect.
The target of the scheme is to enroll 23,000 pensioners, but so far 13,000 have been captured. The state government is also proposing to enroll 20,000 vulnerable people in the state. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
The need for more inclusion of women, youth, and people with disabilities in governance has again been re-echoed. This was during a stakeholders dialogue and technical engagement on inclusive governance between political parties and civil society organizations held in Abuja. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
The inclusion of women, youth, and people with disabilities in governance is not encouraging. Thanks to the bill Not Too Young to Run signed into law by the former President Buhari that has raised the hope of this set of people. Stakeholders at this dialogue agree more needs to be done, considering the huge gap, especially in political participation.
It remains a truism that most of the leadership positions in the major political parties are dominated by men. And the only position reserved for women is mostly that of the women leader. Who tells you that Nigerian women cannot be men's leader?
All Progressives Congress has been able to implement inclusiveness in the party process, and of course in other areas as well. But we are still hoping that they will do more.
Others recommended that political parties with single digit of women candidates should be disqualified from participating in elections. Disability Act be reviewed in the National Assembly to ensure specific clauses that will enforce inclusion of people with disabilities in political parties and compliance.
I want you to encourage women with disabilities in your neighborhood to join political parties. That's where we will start asking questions and holding political parties accountable. I ran twice, I did not win, but I have inspired many women to come out and be part of the political process.
They, however, believe that until an inclusive gender policy is developed in all political parties, the issue of women, youth, and people with disabilities inclusion will not be addressed. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Political parties, candidates, and other participants in the electioneering process of the 40 November 11 governorship poll in Kogi State have signed a peace accord in order to maintain a favorable environment for holding the off-cycle election contested for by 18 candidates. Jacob Sani reports.
Control the unexpected in the November 11 governorship election in Kogi State. The National Peace Committee believes that the state should be established on peace, justice, and equity, with every person having the right to political participation. That is, all actors, particularly political parties candidates, in the upcoming election in Kogi State must maintain some level of decorum before, during, and after the poll. The Nigeria Police Force, the National Peace Committee, INEC, traditional institutions, and interreligious leaders all gave assurances that political parties and their followers should play the games appropriately.
There is the contestants who are offering themselves through their political parties for service of the people. They are to present themselves to be voted for, not impose themselves or grab power by all means.
We have a core of ad hoc staff that is well prepared, well managed, and will be properly supervised to ensure that free and fair election is delivered in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo.
The signing of a peace treaty by the Kogi State government adds to the existing peace in the state. Kogi State's off-cycle governorship election began in 2011. Jacob Sani, NT News.
And in the meantime, youths in Kogi State are advocating a free, fair, and peaceful atmosphere in the upcoming gubernatorial election scheduled for Saturday. The articulated demands were formally presented to both the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and various security agencies in Lokoja. Absalam Muhammad reports.
Exercise marked by sporadic violence has prompted concern. The youth, often the primary victims of such incidents, recognize the negative image this event casts upon the state. In response, civic society groups operating under the banners of Lugard Youth Empowerment Initiative and Kogi Peace and Security Network have initiated a proactive approach. These groups undertaken peaceful procession to educate voters on the importance of casting their vote for their preferred candidate, while urging them to reject any form of electoral malpractice.
Election is not all about violence. The election should be peaceful so that electorate can elect their leaders. We pray this should be a better election for Kogi State.
They called on the security agencies and electoral authorities to uphold impartiality, emphasizing the need for professionalism in the discharge of their duties. The procession led the groups to the INEC office, where they were received by the heads of operation and voter education.
Our ad hoc staffs, they are all out there. They were being trained for almost 1 month. What we call route training. We're training them in their various CDS. We train them enough. We don't want any problem as regards to our beavers.
In as much as politicians or voters will want to rely on the uploaded result, they should equally rely on the manually collected results on the form ECAA.
The peaceful rally reached its conclusion at the police headquarters, marking a significant effort by the Lugard Youth Empowerment Initiative and Kogi Peace and Security Network to foster a conducive environment for a peaceful and transparent electoral process. Abdusalam Mohammed, NTA News.
That ends the news for tonight. I now hand you over to Idowu Ogunbade for the Yoruba version. Good night, and you have a happy weekend ahead.